Hey, badass business owners, welcome back to the show. Today, I want to talk about something called the Stairway to Success. And I need you to visualize something first. Think about any multi-story building that you've been in that you had to take the stairs. In most cases, you went up a flight, then you hit a landing pad, and then you went up the next flight, then you hit a landing pad, and then you went up a next flight and hit a landing pad. And part of the reason that they do that is so that you can either maneuver and go around a bin, or in some cases, it's in order for the person to rest before taking on the next flight of stairs. It's to give it some kind of resting platform, if you will. In some cases, there's no landing pads and you just wish there was because it's just like nonstop stairs and you have to create your own at some point. Now that you've kind of got a visual of these stairs, you're probably wondering, what on earth does this have to do with your business? Well, it's actually quite simple, because when we start our business, part of what we're doing is we're trying to create this business, right? We're starting from the ground floor. We're starting from the bottom, and we're kind of taking each step as a different way of growing that business. We start to get our first customer, we step onto the first step, we get our next set of customers and our next set, and our business slowly starts to grow. Well, what happens is, over a course of time, our business gets to a certain point where it's doing pretty well. But we start feeling it kind of like getting hard to breathe, if you will, because the business is doing well, but we're starting to realize that we have some broken things within our business. Now, most people have one of two options at that point. They can keep plowing forward, which a lot of people do, or they take a moment and they start working on some of those processes and things within their business that they need to fix. And when we keep plowing forward, what happens typically when we're doing stairs, when we keep plowing forward, there comes a point in time where we just can't breathe. We can't go any further. If you've ever seen a race up steps, there's always that person that thinks they can keep running and running and running and running and running. And then there's that person who stops at every landing, takes a breath, goes to the next one, takes a breath. But by the time they get to the top of the floors, the person who kept taking the breather for the moment, typically a lot of times will win. Not all the time, but typically they're the ones that will get there faster. And the reason is because they're replenishing the oxygen that they need in order to do that stair stepping. Well, same thing within our business. If you keep plowing through and not taking the times to stand on those landing pads, fix the business, put in place what you need to go to the next level, you're going to burn out, or the business is not going to be able to sustain itself. So it's really important that when you're going through your business, that you pause and you take the time through your different growth strategies, because what got you to your first $50,000 isn't going to get you to your next $50,000. What's going to get you to $1 million? What's going to get you to more than that? Whatever it is that you want to go to, whatever goals that you set, because in most cases you need something. For example, even just growing the business from a one-person operation, there becomes a tipping point to where you as a one-person band cannot take on any more business without hiring someone, in which case that would be a landing. That's a point where you stop, you adjust the business, you change the business, because the minute you bring someone in, you're not the one doing it. So you have to pause for a sec to train them, to teach them what they need to do, to give them some of the business, or to make your phone calls and teach them the operational side, whatever you've hired them for. So that really is like one of your very first landing pads when you hire that person. But for many people, it really comes down to processes, because if you sit back and you start asking yourself, what's it going to take for me to double my business? You're going to realize that you need to look at the way that you schedule, look at the way that you respond to people, look at the way that you hire, look at the way that you do the jobs. There's so many different aspects of your business that you have to look at in order to go to that next level. The reason that I'm bringing this up is I had conversations with several different business owners last week, and this seemed to be a theme. And if you've been a long-time listener to the show, you know that when I start hearing themes through the course of my week, it's time for me to talk about it. And this whole concept of this stair and the landing pad has been a very common theme, because there's been some business owners out there that have been growing these wonderful, great businesses, but you can see that they're starting to bust at the seams a little bit. Business is doing great. They know that business is going to go to the next level, but there's a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of self-reflection that they realize that if something doesn't change, they're not going to be able to sustain this. A lot of times you may have heard me talk about being a victim of your own success. And there are businesses that actually crash and burn even though they're very successful. And the reason that they crash and burn is all they do is chase the sales as opposed to slowing down and making sure that their processes and their systems are doing well and making sure that the business is actually profitable. Because when your processes are broken, when your systems are broken, it starts to cost you profit. And if you're not priced correctly to make sure that you can sustain that profit, your profit actually ends up hurting you as well because you run out of cash, because it takes money to generate more sales in a lot of cases. And if you were already cash poor, meaning you didn't have enough profits, well, doing more sales is just going to suck up the little bit of profit that you still have. There's a lot of different things that you're looking at as you hit that landing pad in the stairs. I just want to make sure that each and every one of you pause for a moment and do that landing pad and take the time to make sure that things are right in your business before you chase that next set of sales. The landing area is nothing to be ashamed of. Just like in that race, people think that it's showing weakness when they stop and they pause and they breathe and take in more oxygen before they continue up the rest of the stairs. And the reality is you're not. You're taking care of yourself and you're making sure that you're healthy enough to continue the journey up those stairs. No different than in your business. It's probably one of the most crucial things that you can actually do is to pause, reflect, and look at the business and what it is that you need to do. Today's going to be short and sweet, but it's really important that you understand this concept and ask yourself, are you due for a landing area for you to be able to relook at your business, look at your systems, look at your processes, look at making sure that you're profitable, looking at your pricing before you carry on and go to the next level of your business? And I will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.